Big Z Reviews. Candyman is another one of those films where it's partially a remake, partially like a reimagining, but then also partially a direct sequel to the original that might kind of avoid the other sequels that weren't quite as good in between. And as all that, it is very interesting. It's a good film. I enjoyed it.
Why are you drawn to this?
I'm hoping to spread the story all about Candyman. The mirror invites you to summon him. You should say his name. I dare you.
Candyman.
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 So before I watched this, I like rewatched or watched for the first time the original Candyman, like the unrated version from the Scream Factory. And I don't know. I think I might have seen it as a kid, or I might have seen the sequels like on TV. I'm not 100% sure, but I was familiar with it. But like watching the first one again, this time I absolutely loved it. It is an amazing film. It kind of reminds me like when I watched the original Hellraiser again, because it's very different and unique and dark and gory, but also has a lot to say. But like the first one is interesting. It's like the main character is a white woman, a graduate student that is like going into this and looking at the lore of the local, like the Black history lore. This black man that was an artist fell in love with a white woman, and the dad did not like that and kind of lynched him, and then became the Candyman. And it's like there's some really good stuff in that, but at the same time, in the end, she kind of becomes a white savior a little, like literally, but it's a great film, and I think that watching it right the night before I saw this, it both helped and hurt my experience with this Candyman, because you couldn't help compare the two. And also, like 5 to 10 minutes of this Candyman had to retell what happened in the first one, because it's a direct sequel. But they know that a lot of people may not have seen the first one. There might have been a decade since they saw it, so like. They did it like with this stop motion kind of like puppeteering sort of things, and it was cool. But I think because I just watched it, it was like, yeah, okay, I get it, move on. But as I really liked Yahya Abdul-Mateen as Anthony McKay, and I won't spoil who he is, but he is like the direct sequel. Like his character was in the first one, and like he is an artist. And his girlfriend or wife is Tiana Paris, and she's like an art dealer, and like he is kind of struggling right now, like he's trying to make new art, and he like in looking for a new project, his girlfriend's brother like talks about the lore of Candyman. And he thinks that's interesting and wants to go explore. And maybe Candyman finds him and wants to come back through him. And like there's that stuff. The body horror of him like kind of turning into Candyman is really effective. And I really liked it. It's really different. But the actual like I was never scared at all. There aren't any jump scares. There aren't any that many creepy scares. Like, it's just the creepiness of the mirror. Like, but even then, usually, they didn't play it for much for the creepiness. They played it more for the gore. Like, essentially, like, once the people say it, like, you can see Candyman in the mirror, but you can't see him in the real world. So, like, it reminded me a little of, like, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, when he's killing you in the dreams, but then in the real world, you're, like, floating around and being stabbed to death. It reminded me kind of of that. I mean, and it looks really cool. And I think, the director, Nia DaCosta, did really good with this stuff. But at the same time, I didn't get as much of the scariness or creepiness of that. Like, she did the body horror great. I love the body horror. But again, I didn't get much of the actual, like, horror in this film. But, like, then they do some interesting stuff with the, again, everything with him transforming, but at the same time, after just watching the first one, that does it so well where like she doesn't know if she might be doing these things, like the question of am I killing these people or is Candyman doing it? Or am I going crazy? Like, I love that aspect of the first one. And they don't really try to do that at all with this one. Because clearly he's not around at all. And you, as the viewer, you see the mirror universe Candyman killing all these people. And like, it becomes more of a slasher at a certain point. And I don't mind that, but I didn't love it as much as I would have liked. And like, there's some people that complain that this becoming political. It's just like, I think they haven't seen the original, but there definitely is. I don't know if I say it's a little more heavy-handed or not. I think it's maybe a little bit towards the end when the police get involved. It's a little more heavy-handed, but at the same time, that's like a lot of the same stuff that the original did, and it's real and it's honest. And I mean, so it's an interesting concept with how this Candyman, like, is taking out on all these white people in this film. That's the one thing in the first one, like, again, that, like, some people that are more damaged by Candyman are black people. But in this one, it's all the white people. And, I mean, it's cool. I mean, like, it's a different idea, a different, like, way to do it. And I like that. And I think that, like, the idea of, like, the mythos of him, that, like, that people are like almost can bring him back to life if you're telling his story, and it's like empowering, like it's like a legend of him. He's becoming stronger, and there's a lot of cool stuff here. But I didn't love it as much as I would have liked to. You know, it's definitely very interesting. I'd probably give it like a 7.75 out of 10. I would recommend it, but not like super highly. But it's a good film. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more of me, you can subscribe down below. Thanks.